Now the guy disappears. So one of the policemen, a few days later, one of the policemen from District B2 at the time, his name was Dorsey, they gave us a description of the guy, and the police department artist made a composite of this particular guy. Well, this police officer was on his way to work going by Dudley Street when he spotted the guy. What looked exactly like the guy, so he walked up and he grabbed him. And the guy had a gun on him. He was armed with a gun. And his name was Rudy Flores. Came from New York. Took him in the station. Well, he denied anything about the hat. He said he found it in the street. He found it. He said he never was in the South End. Didn't know what we were talking about. We gave a background check on him. We found out that he was wanted in New York City on a missing person, where he was involved with a 16-year-old girl. He was observed with the girl. The girl turned up missing. They never found her. They got a warrant for this Rudy Flores, and he took off. He had already served time in Attica, in the prison in New York, because he, Rudy Flores, kidnapped a woman, took her off the street, took her to an abandoned factory in New York. He kept her there for at least 4 or 5 days, and he just raped her every day until he murdered her. So we asked the prison officials in New York, how in the hell did this guy ever get out of jail? And they say, in New York, if you serve exemplary, you don't do anything while you're in prison, after a certain period of time, you're eligible for parole. When his parole came up, he went back to New York, to his neighborhood, grabbed that poor 16-year-old kid. God knows what happened to her. They never found the body. Then he knew the cops were looking for him, so he came to Boston, a city that he didn't know. He wasn't familiar with the city. He just came here. And, well, anyway, to make a long story short, we had no body. When you don't have the body, you can't prove anything. It's all circumstantial. The district attorney said, we can't charge him with the crime of the girl because we don't know a crime occurred yet. The girl, we can't find the body. But he did 1 year at Charlestown State Prison for the possession of a firearm. So after that, after he served his 1 year, he was supposed to go back to New York to stand trial as a parole violator. And then he was going to get sent back to Attica, back to prison. But he wouldn't say nothing. He wouldn't say nothing. So one day, I found out that they were taking him to the Boston Medical Center because he had to have a minor operation. And I asked prison officials, the mother wanted to talk to him. So the prisoner has to allow you, they have to allow you to do that. They have to say it's okay. So he said it was all right. So I went there with Mrs. Del Valle, and she sat down opposite him, opposite the table. He was sitting there, and she said to him, look, this woman was very religious. She was what they call a Christiana. She was like a born-again Christian type person. She said, look, she says, I harbor no ill will against you. Nothing. I have nothing against you, sir. She says, I pray for you. She says, I think you're a troubled man. She says, all as I want to know is where my daughter is, so I can at least say a prayer over her. That's all I want. That's all I want. And he just looked at her dead in the eye and he says, I know nothing about your daughter. Nothing. And that was the end of the conversation. Now, over at the Villa Victoria, they had a Halloween party one time, and a guy came in, and he said, at the villa, at the Halloween party, we were taking pictures in the party. And he was going through the Halloween pictures, and he came across a picture of a guy looking in the window, the plate glass window, and it was that guy, Rudy Flores. Oh. He was looking in the window at the kids. And then we found another witness that said that they saw him hanging around the Blackstone school yard. Also, when he was arrested, he also had a badge, a fake police badge on him. You know, one of those you could buy him out of a magazine badge. But what happened with Rudy Flores, I have to admit, I did kind of a dastardly thing, because I knew a lot of kids from the South End that were locked up in the prison over there at Deer Island. He was at Deer Island. I knew a lot up there. They were up there for, like, you know, stealing a car, you know, kind of minor offenses. They had to do like 3 months, 6 months, that type of thing. You know, not paying their wives, girlfriends, whatever it is, child support. So they're up there. So I got the word up to them that Rudy Flores was there. Well, I'll tell you, they beat the living bejesus out of that guy. They bounced that guy. They gave him such a beat. They had to take him and put him in isolation. But anyway, he was released from prison after a year, went back to New York, okay? Went back to prison for like another 5 years, and he got released again. Gets released again, goes back to the same neighborhood. This is an incredible, crazy story. While he's there, he goes down to this unemployment office where there's a whole line of people looking, you know, to get a job, and he sees 2 young girls standing there in line looking to get a job, and he walks up and he says, "I'm a professional photographer." He says, "I would like to, you know, take your pictures. You know, I'll take your pictures. And I'll pay you." So he, oh wow, you know, make a few bucks. So they go off with him. He takes him to his mother's house. He had a mother and a brother and a sister-in-law, and a few people lived in the house. And he was sleeping in the back bedroom. Takes the 2 girls in the back bedroom, locks the door, takes out a gun, tells them to take off their clothes, and he commences, he's going to rape the both of them. The girls start screaming. So the brother-in-law, a stand-up guy, knocks on the door and says, "Rudy, you're making too much noise. Get them out of here." Not call the police, no. Rudy takes the 2 girls about a block away to another abandoned building, takes them upstairs, ties them up, rapes 1 girl, murders her. The other girl breaks loose and jumps out a window, and she's like 6 stories up. She breaks every bone in her body, legs, her back, but she lives. She lives. And she identifies. He gets arrested again, goes back to prison, and this time he's there for life without parole. Finally. Well, years later, I went down to see him, you know, with the New York City Police Department. I went down to see Rudy Flores. And I talked with him. And I said, "Look, you're going to be here the rest of your life. I already got the okay from the Massachusetts authorities here in Massachusetts that they have no interest in him. In other words, as long as he's going to be in prison for the rest of his natural life." But what happened with Rudy Flores, I said to him, "Rudy, you're not going to get out of, you're here for the rest of your life. Nothing more can possibly happen to you. You know what I mean? You're here. You're never going to leave this place forever. All I want to know is, what the hell did you do with that kid? Just tell me, and I'll, I'll go back and tell the mother. I mean, geez, don't you have any kind of a hat or anything, you know?" And the first thing he said to me, "Your tormentors did a good job beating the shit out of me." So I said to Rudy, we all make mistakes, you know. So, but I talked with him for a while, but he wouldn't talk, he wouldn't say nothing. So as far as I know, he's still in prison, and little Narita Del Valle, 11 years old, she's still missing, and the body was never found. But that's the story about that kid. It's a sad